Good morning, everyone. So initially, can you switch to the presentation, please? Yeah. So initially, my talk was scheduled for the second half. So I was under the impression that, okay, morning, all the speakers are going to talk about the good things about AI. And then afternoon, I'll introduce the bad thing about AI. Fortunately or unfortunately, the organizers swapped the talk, and you guys have to start with the bad side of the security or the bad side of the AI. It's not actually bad, I'm just setting the context. So I'm going to, so how we are planning is, initially there were 3 speakers. We were planning a panel discussion as well as a fireside chat, but one speaker couldn't join. So first I'll start with my presentation, and then we will hand over to the next speaker, and then we will have a discussion, and then we will open the floor for questions and discussions. Okay, so I'll take around 15 minutes max. My intro is over. So my agenda, I'll keep it very short. I'll have a small introduction section, and then I'll set the context with a case study, how the AI is shaping the offensive security spectrum, and then what is offensive AI, why we should adopt it, and I'll summarize it. And in case if you have any question, towards the end of the session, we can take up further questions. Before I start, I already said, this is not a political presentation, or this is not a presentation to scare you or not to highlight anything bad. It's just to set the context. I'm sharing some case studies. So I'm not sure whether you can read it. So there is a very famous saying, there are 2 kinds of people in the world, those who know AI and those who don't, which is what the opening speaker also said. It is time for everyone to adopt. So now the world looks at us as whether we know AI or not. So with that, 2026 started with a very interesting bang, or something very interesting happened. Can you just...
Maduro in the dead of night. It was dark. The lights of Caracas were largely turned off due to a certain expertise that we have.
Certain expertise that we have. So what basically happened, all of you know, a complete city went offline, okay? And somebody, recorded it accidentally.
Y después van hacia arriba, ¿sí? Si es por parte de su madre o parte... Boludo, se cortó la luz.
So you can see the New Year celebrations were still on. This happened, and everybody knows what happened, but we have a different side to look at it. So what we saw is an AI warfare era has started. This is a very classical example. Till now it was the regular conventional warfare era. Now what has started is 2026 kicked off the AI warfare era. Now, what do you mean by that is, for the first time, the 5th dimension of the warfare is showcased in a very proper way, or without any mistakes, is what is an example here happened. So in case if you don't know what are the various dimensions of warfare, we have the air, water, land, and then you have the space, the cyber, and then the mind. Okay, so this is the first time the 5th domain supremacy was tested properly. Now, what actually happened, one of the most interesting thing is the world's 2nd largest hydroelectric project was hacked or compromised, which is the Guri Dam project, which they attacked and then shut down the complete city's power system. I don't know how many of you know about this. Yesterday, there was a big fire in KSEB in Thrissur. So when I was hearing the news, the first thing that came to my mind is there a sabotage attempt happening? Are they trying some small test on our infrastructure? Yesterday there was a big fire, Thrissur, there was an electric failure, if you have serve the news. So the point here is the cyber weapons were used for 3 activities as part of the operation. One was to switch off the lights. Second was to spoof the enemy radar. So the Venezuelan radars were not showing any aircraft that was coming. Almost 150 aircraft flew from US or US warship to Venezuela. The Venezuelan radars were not showing anything. So the second cyber weapon that was used was to control the radar, and the third one was the command and control system, which is basically the phone network. The phone network was again compromised. They were not able to connect because to fire any missile or launch a rocket, you need to get permission from the military commanders. They were not able to contact them. So the cyber weapons were used to target 3 areas basically. Now, don't think that only the government was part of it. The private sector, this is where I'm setting the context. The private players are a major, or they play a major role in national security nowadays. So one of the company, you can Google for it. This company was providing the AI intelligence to the military operation. Basically, they target what they are doing, what they are eating, how they are moving, when they are moving, to which place they are moving. Everything was provided as intel feed by this AI company. Now the cyber weapons market. Okay, this is the market share that is predicted. How many cyber weapon companies are there in India? You can just Google for it. Very, very minimal. Okay, and don't look at it as a negative space or negative activity. It's a very, very lucrative industry. You can just look at the number here. We don't have the ecosystem is what we are, or what I'm trying to convey here. We don't have the ecosystem to do research and development in this space. Okay. What the world is looking at is what is known as zero resistance engineering. This is the future as far as national security is concerned, or offensive security is concerned. So what this means is, everybody is looking at a system or an ecosystem where if you attack somebody, there is less or minimal or nil resistance from the other side. And this is what exactly was proven in Venezuela. There was zero resistance from that particular country. 150 aircraft, I don't know how many of you have studied it. It took 2.5 hours after the first approval to launch the attack, and it took only 20 or 25 minutes to complete the mission. Okay, so everything happened in 3 hours window. Okay, so this is what everybody is looking at. And with that, let me get into what is offensive AI. So morning the speaker also was talking about internet and the economy behind internet and how it acts as a catalyst for our growth. But internet is a place where there is no rule. Whoever is powerful, they control internet. You might have heard China rerouted the internet traffic for almost 40 minutes, which means they have access, or if required, they can reroute the complete world's traffic through their servers. Many other countries have attempted that. Just Google for it, don't believe me, just Google for all these things. So World Wide Web, it is also known as Wild Wild West. People who watch the US movies, they know Wild Wild West is a state where there is no law. Okay. So internet is a place, as we speak here, if internet is there, as we speak here, these are the live attacks that is happening. This is live, this is not a recorded video. Okay, it's taken live from the internet. These are the live attacks that is happening, and most of them, interestingly, is being powered by AI. Can you click on the next slide, please? So this presentation, I have put it online. Anybody can take it. No need to record it. It is there online. I'll share the URL at the end. Yeah, just click on next one. This is another feed, live attacks from another feed. Next. Next, we'll skip it. Okay. So AI, everybody is talking about how AI can solve the problems, how we can use it in daily life, how we can use in the medical industry. But there are a group of people who is looking at AI and finding out how we can use AI to launch attacks. Now, AI-powered attacks are going to be very, very difficult to stop if you don't know how to stop it. So that is where it is time to invest on offensive AI also. So AI acts as a multiplier for attackers. Now AIs are writing malware. It is used for extensive phishing because it can adapt. Depending on your profile, the phishing campaign will adapt itself. It can be used for polymorphic activities, which I'll come to that very soon. Okay, so the threat landscape is basically changing with the advent of AI. So AI-driven phishing camps. Morning, again, another speaker was talking about the deep fakes that happened in India. A lot of cases are already registered. So we have autonomous malware. Autonomous malware means viruses which knows what to do depending on where it is placed. And then we have polymorphic attacks, which is basically, it changes its behavior. So today it might be silent, tomorrow it might, act differently. So then we have AI assistant Recon. Recon is reconnaissance, basically gathering information about you from the social media platforms or open intelligence platforms. Then exploit development. These are all slightly technical terms. I don't want to get too technical, but these are all offensive activities which can be done by AI agents now. Okay. If you have an AI system in place, attackers have new attack surface. So basically, the attackers can attack your training data. It can also attack your model's APIs, and it can also attack the prompts and the plugins that is used in your AI system. I just spoke about model poisoning. So you have the model or LLMs and all those things, the training data that can be poisoned so that it gives out wrong information. Okay, that is what is model poisoning. Prompt injection, very similar to that. You can do data leakage through LLMs and then insecure model endpoints. So these are all technical words. I don't want to get into the technical aspect of it, but what I'm trying to convey is when we are building AI systems, these are the attack surfaces. If you don't protect it properly, the attackers could control it, or they could even damage your system. So just a recent research, 3 months before this result came out. Can you click on that continue to site? Top right. Yeah. If you want to poison AI engine, you only need 250 bad documents. And you can look at the date. It was released in October 2025. So you have a system, you want to contaminate it, you want to damage it, or you want it to give wrong information. What you need is basically 250 minimum documents. Okay, just click on the next slide, please. Okay, so I talked about the wrong or the bad side of it. For the people who are involved in designing or implementing or building AI systems, what are the things that you can adopt to make sure you have a secure AI system? One is you follow the secure by design AI. A very simple example I'll give you. If you do a ChatGPT search and say, I want to build a web application which does a conference registration, the first output that it will give you is never secure. At the end of it, you will see, if you want to make it more secure, please do let us know. I'll give you the suggestion. So it is not by default giving you the secure output. Most of the people, we want a working model. We don't care about security generally. Okay. So one of the first thing that you can adopt is the secure by design AI. The second is threat modeling, which is again another domain in security. So you look at all the threats that is applicable. Then the third is the SSDLC, the Secure Software Development Lifecycle for ML. That is something that you can adopt. And then do it for full-fledged offensive testing, which is known as red teaming in the industry. So you have a new engine or a model. you make sure you do a full-fledged testing on it and ensure there are no loopholes. So these are some of the suggestions or best practices that you can follow to adopt a secure AI model. So the offensive AI is a necessary evil. You need to know, because if you want to stop an attacker, you should know how they do the attacks. That's the very simple funda here. So the very interesting thing is SANS, I don't know how many of you know about it, it's one of the best training organizations in the world. They have started a special course. I'm not here to promote that. I'm just giving you the context. The world is getting ready for using AI to attack, and we are talking about building AI systems here. We have to catch up. That is the main point that I'm trying to convey. We have a lot of things to do to reach this level. So what I'm saying is there are so many courses available now. It's paid, and look at the fees. It's almost 5 lakh rupees. Okay, it's a 5 days course or maximum 10 days course. You are paying 5 lakh, but the content is at that level. So a lot of opportunities are there from a security or AI security standpoint is what I'm trying to convey. So let me conclude. Few points I have. The AI is going to impact everything around us. Like what Mr. Ben said, the next 30 years, it's going to impact us, both in the good way and the bad way. The elections that are going to come now, you will see in the previous election, again I said this is not a political talk. The previous election you saw how social media was used. The coming elections you will see how AI is going to play a major role in shaping your thought process. It is going to affect our financial backbone, enterprises, network, everything is going to affect. Organizations need to be prepared for a AI scale attack. That is the second point that you need to keep in mind. And very, very interesting, no matter how much money or assets you have, you may have good technology. If you don't know how to protect it, it is just an illusion. It is not your asset. It is somebody else's asset. A very classical example is what happened last week. And finally, any technology that can give you everything is equally powerful in taking it back from you. I will stop my talk with one question which I want you to think. Everybody is now claiming that we use AI or AI powered engine. What stopped Indigo from whatever happened? Why the AI couldn't solve it? Everybody claims, all of you know what happened at the end of 2025, right? Their system, they are also using AI. Everybody is using AI. What stopped that organization from solving that problem? They had almost 1 year or 1.5 years at disposal. So the point here is, I'm not saying this technology is bad. What I'm saying is, if you don't know how to use the technology, then it is going to bite you back. That is the point here. It's just like a knife. If you don't know how to use it, or 2 weeks before, there was a incident happened in Punjab. Somebody was carrying a gun here. How many of you seen that video? Okay, somebody was carrying a gun here. He was sitting, when he got up, it accidentally fired, he died. So if you use a gun, there is a safety lock which you have to put. So AI or any technology for that matter, it is like that. If you don't know how to use it properly, it is going to hit you back. Okay, so that's the points that I wanted to convey. What we are planning is, now I'll hand over the mic to the next speaker. He will share some experience and then we can have some discussions, questions.